9 boundaries men set that turn women on. Modern Stoic. Welcome to our channel. It's Blessing of Stoic, where you find interesting and useful knowledge from the Stoic philosophers to lead a happy and good life. Gentlemen, let's dive into a concept that many men misunderstand when it comes to attraction. Society often teaches you that to win a woman's heart, you must be endlessly kind, always at her beck and call, and put your own needs on the back burner. But what if I told you that the exact opposite might be the key to drawing her in? What if setting the right boundaries doesn't push women away, but actually pulls them closer today? We'll uncover 10 powerful boundaries that, when set correctly, will make women say, "Now that's a man I respect." And no, it's not about being cold or controlling. It's about knowing your worth and acting accordingly. Let's break this down. Love is not about possession. It's about appreciation. Unknown. Number 1. Not always being available. Don't make the mistake of being always available. You're not doing yourself any favors. If you're constantly dropping what you're doing to answer calls, respond to texts, or adjust your plans for others, you're not showing strength or independence. Instead, you're displaying neediness. A man who is always available, always eager to please, comes off as someone with no purpose or direction. That's not the image of a man who is desirable. A modern Stoic, on the other hand, understands the value of his time. He's not at the mercy of others' demands. He has his own goals, passions, and routines that he prioritizes. His world is his own. The blessing of Stoicism lies in the idea of living life for your own purpose, not to fulfill the needs of others. When you make time for yourself first, it sends a powerful message that you're not dependent on the approval or attention of others. This is the kind of behavior that's magnetic, not only because it reflects confidence, but because it shows you have a life outside of the people around you. This independence isn't about being cold or unapproachable. It's about respecting your own time, your own interests, and creating a healthy space where mystery thrives. That mystery draws people in. It leaves them wondering what you're up to, what you're focused on, and what you're achieving. This curiosity builds attraction because it creates a tension that's both exciting and intriguing. Women are naturally drawn to men who know what they want and don't need validation to feel important. When you're always available, you remove that sense of mystery. The constant accessibility makes you seem desperate, like you're waiting around for the next person to demand your attention. But when you create space, when you balance your interests with genuine care for the people you choose to engage with, you stand out as someone of high value. You show that you're grounded in your own life, and that you're not just living to please others. The old Stoic understood the importance of this balance. He wasn't distant or detached for the sake of being mysterious, but because he knew that a man who values his time and energy is far more attractive than one who bends over backward to be available at all times. That is the core of confidence. It's the recognition that your time is precious, and you will not squander it just to be at the beck and call of others. A man who can set healthy boundaries, who can say no when necessary, creates the kind of emotional tension that is irresistible. You must take this to heart. Don't be afraid to say no, to prioritize your own passions, and to remain focused on your goals. This is what makes you stand out as high value. Your ability to balance interest with independence will always be more attractive than simply being there for others at all times. The blessing of Stoicism is learning to live on your own terms, unaffected by the constant demand for your attention. So, don't fall into the trap of being overly accessible. Be the kind of man who creates mystery, who balances presence with purpose, and who lives a life that doesn't revolve around pleasing others. That is the power of a modern Stoic man. Number 2, not chasing validation. Gentlemen, listen closely. A man who doesn't chase validation is a rare breed in a world where most people are addicted to approval. He's not out there flexing his muscles with flashy words or performing exaggerated gestures to get attention. No, a Stoic man stands firm in his quiet confidence. He knows who he is and doesn't need to prove it to anyone. He doesn't chase compliments because he's secure in himself. He doesn't rely on someone else's praise or reaction to feel good about his worth. His value is already built in. It's self-assured, rock solid. This is where Stoicism comes into play. The Stoic life isn't about seeking constant validation or wearing your achievements like a badge of honor for others to admire. Instead, a modern Stoic understands that true confidence comes from within, not from external sources. A man who doesn't chase validation moves through life with an energy that can't be faked. It's a kind of self-assurance that radiates without needing words. You must realize this: when you stop looking for validation, you immediately gain control over your own life. You no longer depend on others to tell you who you are. That kind of energy is magnetic. It makes you seem grounded, calm, and in full control of your world. Women are naturally drawn to this. Why? Because it feels real, it feels safe. A man who isn't trying to impress anyone exudes an air of authenticity. And there's nothing more attractive than authenticity. When a man doesn't need to boast or seek approval, he carries himself with an unspoken confidence. He doesn't need to shout, "I'm great." He simply shows it in his actions, in how he carries himself through life. Imagine this: a man who doesn't need to fish for compliments, doesn't have to wait around for approval. He is his own approval. Say it. That's the blessing of Stoicism. It's a life where you don't measure your worth by the reactions of others, but by your own internal compass. A Stoic understands that external validation is fleeting, and real power comes from the inside. Be clear on this: chasing validation is a sign of insecurity. A Stoic man doesn't need to prove anything to anyone because his value is not defined by anyone else's opinion. It's unshakable. When you let go of the need to chase validation, something amazing happens. You become a man who is in control of his own narrative. Your confidence isn't tied to how others perceive you. It's tied to who you truly are. Women find this irresistible because it creates a sense of calm in the chaos of the world. There's something magnetic about a man who moves through life with assurance, knowing that he doesn't need to chase approval, but rather creates his own. Let this be your mantra. You must stop chasing validation. Start focusing on what truly matters, what you want, your values, and your purpose. With every step you take away from seeking validation, you step closer to becoming the man you are meant to be. This is a Stoic lesson. The Stoic life teaches us to find peace within ourselves, not in the fleeting reactions of others. You must stop looking outside yourself for approval and instead turn inward to find the strength and validation you need to truly thrive. That is what makes a man powerful. That is what makes you magnetic. So don't waste time chasing approval or waiting for someone to notice how great you are. Be the man who knows his worth and stands firm in it. That kind of man, the modern Stoic, doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He simply is. And that is the most attractive quality a man can have. If you believe true confidence comes from within and not from validation, drop a comment right now. I am secure in who I am. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remember, true power is silent, not desperate. Number 3, not tolerating disrespect. And you must set boundaries that reflect your self-respect, emotional control, and inner strength. One of the most powerful boundaries you can draw is not tolerating disrespect. This is the cornerstone of modern Stoic behavior. It's about understanding your worth and making it clear to others that you won't accept anything less. It's about having the mental and emotional discipline to maintain your dignity, regardless of how others behave. When a woman sees that you have the courage to stand firm against sarcasm disguised as jokes, passive, aggressive comments, or dismissive behavior, she sees a man who values himself. I value myself too much to accept anything less than respect. This isn't about being confrontational or combative. It's about being calm, direct, and unaffected by the petty games people play. That quiet strength, that unwavering presence, is magnetic. You are not moved by disrespect, because you know that no one is worthy of your time if they cannot meet your standards. The Stoic principles, taught by Marcus Aurelius and others, emphasize that emotional control is power. Control your emotions or they will control you. When in the same vein, we are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens. Disrespect is a reflection of the other person, not you. If you tolerate it, you are telling the world that you don't believe in your own values. When you don't tolerate disrespect, you show yourself assurance and maturity. This boundary is an act of Stoic resilience. You're creating an unshakable foundation for yourself, where no one can erode your sense of worth. This boundary demands a commitment to emotional mastery. The more you practice it, the stronger you become. You don't bend, you don't break, you stay centered. You become a person who demands respect, not through words, but through actions. Others feel this sense of steadiness, and it naturally draws them to you. The boundary of refusing disrespect isn't just a defense mechanism, it's an invitation for others to treat you with the same high regard that you treat yourself. You must draw this line and never waver. Stand firm and make sure you never tolerate anything less than respect. This is how you attract women who value you for who you truly are, and not for some false persona you feel pressured to embody. You embody the Stoic warrior, unbothered, unshakable, and worthy. Number 4, rejecting its dynamics. Rejecting its dynamics is one of the most powerful boundaries a modern Stoic man can set, and it will drive women wild. Men who embrace this boundary demonstrate that they have mastered the blessing of Stoicism and understand the importance of emotional balance in a relationship. This is not about being cold or indifferent, but rather about knowing when to step back and allow space for growth. Don't be the guy who constantly feels the need to fix things or play the role of the emotional rescuer. You're not a therapist, and you shouldn't have to bear the weight of someone else's problems. In fact, that is a surefire way to head straight into emotional burnout. A man with a strong sense of self and clarity about his own emotional needs knows that offering support without taking on burdens that aren't his is key. He may say something simple yet powerful like, "I care about you, but I can't be the one to fix everything." This single statement, asserting the boundary, sends a clear message that you value a healthy dynamic based on mutual respect, not emotional dependency. Women find this incredibly refreshing because it creates the space for a partnership to flourish, where both individuals are responsible for their own emotional well-being. This is far from being neglectful or unsupportive. In fact, it's the opposite. It shows that you're emotionally mature and secure enough to offer support without trying to control or save anyone. You're not interested in playing the role of a superhero or a fixer, and that is incredibly attractive. You're looking for a relationship where both partners bring something to the table. one that encourages growth and avoids the toxicity of unhealthy dependency. That's what a modern Stoic does. He draws the line when needed, stays true to himself, and encourages others to do the same. This clarity and strength earn him profound respect. Women deeply appreciate a man who isn't afraid to set boundaries, who stands firm in his emotional clarity and maintains a sense of healthy detachment. This approach fosters a partnership rooted in mutual respect and genuine connection, free from the constant need for saving or fixing. Rejecting fix. Dynamics isn't about avoiding emotional intimacy or avoiding care for your partner's needs. It's about drawing the line between where your responsibility ends and where your partner's emotional journey begins. This is a hallmark of the modern Stoic man, the one who embraces the blessing of Stoicism and isn't afraid to set the boundaries that lead to stronger, more balanced relationships. He shows that he's not there to take on someone else's emotional baggage, but to grow and build something meaningful together. Women are drawn to that strength and clarity because it makes them feel seen, heard, and respected. This type of emotional maturity is a rare and precious trait, and it will attract the right kind of woman who understands the value of mutual growth and partnership. So, don't shy away from setting these boundaries. Be the man who knows the importance of emotional balance, who values partnership over rescue, and who walks with clarity in his relationships. That's what makes you stand out in a world full of confusion and emotional chaos. The old Stoic wisdom still applies. Know your limits, set your boundaries, and watch how respect and admiration flow your way. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Number 5, refusing to over-explain yourself. Refusing to explain yourself is one of the most powerful boundaries a modern Stoic man can set. It speaks volumes about yourself, confidence, and emotional control. Don't fall into the trap of constantly needing to justify your actions or seek approval. In fact, that's not your job. The truth is simple: when you stand firm in your beliefs and trust that your choices don't need constant explanation, you radiate a sense of inner strength that others, especially women, find magnetic. It's not about being rude or dismissive. It's about being emotionally mature enough to know that you don't owe anyone a detailed explanation for your every move. You're not asking for permission, you're simply living by your values. And that's what makes you stand out. This boundary is an essential Stoic lesson. In the Stoic life, the focus is on living according to your own principles, not trying to win the approval of others. The modern Stoic doesn't feel the need to over-explain. He understands that actions speak louder than words. His choices reflect his character, and his behavior doesn't require constant validation. Whether it's in your relationships, at work, or in social settings, you don't need to justify yourself at every turn. Your strength lies in your ability to maintain calm and clarity in your actions, without apologizing or second-guessing yourself. Women find this type of self-assurance incredibly attractive because it shows you're emotionally grounded and not swayed by the opinions of others. It's the kind of quiet strength that demands respect without shouting for it. In today's world, where people often feel the need to explain themselves constantly or seek reassurance, your refusal to explain becomes a breath of fresh air. You've set a boundary that says, "I don't need to convince you I am who I am, and my actions will prove it." This creates a sense of mystery and intrigue around you. The more you embrace this boundary, the more others will want to know what drives you, what makes you tick, and why you don't feel the need to explain every choice you make. This quiet leadership, born from emotional maturity, naturally draws people toward you. And let's be honest, women are particularly drawn to this type of energy because it shows that you are the kind of man who is secure in himself and his decisions. The beauty of this boundary is that it also frees you from the emotional burden of constantly justifying your actions. You don't have to scramble to make others understand you or apologize for having boundaries. Instead, you become a living example of Stoicism, where you let your actions and your steady presence speak for themselves. That's the essence of the Stoic life, acting in alignment with your values, regardless of external opinions or pressures. The modern Stoic understands that explaining often stems from a need for validation, and he refuses to give in to that temptation. So, be the man who doesn't over-explain. Be the man who stands firm in his decisions and knows that he doesn't need to justify every choice he makes. This approach, deeply rooted in the principles of Stoicism, will make you infinitely more attractive to women. You're not seeking approval, you're living your truth. That quiet strength, that emotional maturity is exactly what draws others to you. And it's what will set you apart in a world that's constantly looking for reassurance. Trust in your own power, and let your actions speak for themselves. Women will respect and admire that more than any long-winded explanation ever could. That's the modern Stoic way, and it works. Number 6, asserting emotional boundaries. Asserting emotional boundaries is one of the most powerful demonstrations of strength, maturity, and self-control a man can show. In a world where emotions often dictate our actions and words, the ability to remain calm, clear, and composed, especially during tense moments, is not only rare but deeply attractive. This is the essence of Stoicism, mastering your emotions instead of letting them master you. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This principle lies at the heart of emotional boundaries. When you're able to pause, take a deep breath, and then assert calmly. I'm happy to talk this through when we're both level-headed. It does more than just escalate a situation. It demonstrates that you have control over yourself. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about managing them with wisdom and clarity. When you do this, you show that you're not governed by knee-jerk reactions, but instead, you're in full control of your emotional landscape. In those moments, the power you project is magnetic. You're not allowing the heat of the moment to control your behavior. You're choosing how to respond, which speaks volumes about your strength and stability. This ability to assert emotional boundaries is incredibly attractive to women. It signals that you are someone who can create a safe space in the midst of chaos. Think about it in any tense situation. Most people let their emotions run wild, leading to unnecessary drama and conflict. But a man who maintains his calm in the storm doesn't just survive, he thrives. When you choose not to get caught up in the heat of an argument, but instead take control of your emotions and set boundaries, it sends a clear message you value the relationship and you respect both your partner and yourself. You are not only preserving the emotional balance of the situation, but you're also preventing future resentment. Women find this kind of emotional steadiness deeply attractive because it shows maturity and emotional intelligence. It demonstrates that you're someone who doesn't let little things escalate into bigger issues. You are a man of self-discipline, someone who values constructive dialogue and resolution over conflict and drama. And in a world where emotional instability can run rampant, that's a breath of fresh air. Setting emotional boundaries isn't just about stopping an argument or preventing a meltdown. It's about maintaining an environment where healthy communication can take place without unnecessary emotional interference. This is a quality that women respect. They don't want to feel as though every disagreement is going to spiral into a major fight or leave behind a trail of hurt feelings. By setting boundaries with calm authority, you're giving them the reassurance that any issue, no matter how tense, can be addressed with respect and understanding. You're demonstrating that your relationship can withstand pressure because you have the maturity and control to handle it. This aligns perfectly with the Stoic principles. As Stoicism teaches, we cannot control the events around us, but we can always control how we respond. In life, things will go wrong. People will disappoint you. Conflicts will arise. But how you respond in those moments is what truly matters. You have the power to decide whether you're going to let emotions take control or if you're going to remain calm in the storm. When you assert emotional boundaries, you're not just managing your feelings. You're demonstrating that you have command over yourself, and that kind of control is magnetic. Take a step back and think about the men who inspire you. The ones who don't react impulsively to challenges, but instead meet life's difficulties with calm and reason. These are the men who understand their own power. They embody Stoic principles. They don't let the world shape their reactions. Instead, they shape their own reactions. And when they do this, people are drawn to them. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who can remain calm in the face of adversity. They find this level of self-discipline, emotional control, and maturity incredibly appealing because it shows a high level of emotional intelligence and resilience. You need to master this skill if you want to be the kind of man who commands respect and attraction. It isn't about being cold or detached. It's about being strong enough to choose when and how to engage emotionally. So the next time tension rises, remember to assert those emotional boundaries. Don't be swept away by the chaos mood. Instead, stand firm. Show that you have the strength to remain composed. This is the path to emotional mastery, and the key to being a man women find irresistible. By mastering this skill, you are not just becoming a better partner, you are becoming a more powerful version of yourself. That is the power of Stoicism in modern life. That is the power of emotional control. Embrace it, master it, and watch how it transforms your life and relationships. If you find this valuable, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, I am emotionally steady and value healthy communication. This affirmation reflects the importance of asserting emotional boundaries, showing maturity, and handling emotions with respect. Number 7, prioritizing personal growth. You must understand that prioritizing personal growth isn't just a preference. It's a powerful boundary that turns heads and ignites desire. A man who continually seeks improvement isn't just a man with ambition, he's a force with purpose. Modern Stoics know this all too well. The blessing of Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about rising above mediocrity in every facet of life. A man who commits to learning, honing new skills, and advancing in his career is a man who projects strength and discipline. When a man invests time and energy into his physical and mental health, he's not just improving himself, he's reinforcing the notion that he isn't willing to settle for anything less than the best version of himself. And women notice, it's magnetic. This drive signals that you are in control of your own life, that you are a man of action who values progress, growth, and the pursuit of excellence. The old Stoics taught that self-awareness and self-control are essential for a truly fulfilled life, and the modern Stoic embraces this philosophy fully. This energy, This unwavering commitment to constant self-betterment is an invitation to greatness. You must embody this energy. Be this man who refuses to become complacent, and watch how it draws women towards you. Don't underestimate the allure of ambition combined with discipline. It's more than attractive, it's captivating. A man who constantly strives to improve isn't just someone who will be good in a relationship. He will elevate that relationship, challenging his partner to grow alongside him. Prioritize your personal growth. Keep moving forward. That is what turns women on. The energy of a man who is ever growing, ever evolving, is a boundary that says, I am not here to waste time. I am here to be the best version of myself, and I expect nothing less from those around me. This modern Stoic mindset isn't about perfection. It's about progress, and that is a boundary you need to set. Number 8, being comfortable with silence. You must understand this. Being comfortable with silence isn't just about avoiding awkward moments. It's about exuding a quiet confidence and a sense of self-sufficiency that speaks volumes. In a world where so many feel the need to fill every moment with chatter, the Stoic man knows that silence isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. Silence, when handled with grace, reveals emotional depth, maturity, and an inner peace that many struggle to find. The Stoic lessons teach us that emotional stability is key to living a balanced life. And it's exactly this stability that makes a man who is comfortable with silence so incredibly attractive. Think about it. A man who doesn't feel the need to entertain or be entertained at every turn has mastered one of the most profound elements of the Stoic life: contentment in solitude. He enjoys the presence of others not by filling the space with endless words, but by simply being. That is an aura of emotional maturity that draws people in, especially women. A man who can sit quietly, whether in the company of others or alone, is a man who has learned to be content with who he is. His silence is not awkward. It's powerful. It shows that he's comfortable with himself. He doesn't need to constantly seek validation or keep talking just to fill the void. This doesn't mean he's shy or introverted. It means he's emotionally stable and knows that sometimes the most meaningful moments are those of quiet connection. That's what the Stoic life teaches us, that peace comes not from constant stimulation or noise, but from embracing stillness and reflection. This is a boundary you must set. Don't feel compelled to speak just for the sake of it. Silence is a space where the strongest connections can occur. Think of the moments when you've been with someone, and words weren't necessary. The simple presence of each other, without the need to fill the gaps with noise, creates a connection that speaks louder than anything said. This kind of peace is magnetic. Women see it, they feel it. It's not just about being quiet, it's about what your silence says about you. You are self-sufficient. You are comfortable with who you are. You don't need to perform, entertain, or prove anything. Don't make the mistake of thinking that silence is awkward or uncomfortable. It's not. Silence is an art, and mastering it is a direct reflection of your emotional maturity and your understanding of the Stoic lessons. The Stoic life isn't about speaking constantly or filling every second with noise. It's about creating moments of peace where you can sit with your thoughts, reflect, and simply be. This ability to be at peace with yourself in silence isn't just a great personal quality, it's incredibly attractive to women. It signals that you are not ruled by the need for constant external validation. You must learn to embrace the power of silence and recognize that it communicates a quiet strength that words often fail to convey. That is the essence of emotional stability, and it is the kind of boundary that will make women see you as a man who is secure, grounded, and in complete control of his emotions. If you've made it this far, you understand that true strength comes from standing firm in your values, no matter the pressure. It's what sets you apart and makes you incredibly attractive. Now, take action and show that you're committed to this path. Comment, "I stand firm in my values and embrace true strength." Let's hear from you. Number 9, holding firm to your values. You want to be the kind of man who stands firm in his values, right? A man who can weather any storm, hold his ground, and never waver, no matter the pressure. Women notice that, in a world where everyone seems to bend and shift to please others, a man who stays grounded in his principles becomes a beacon of authenticity. His words align with his actions. That's what builds trust and respect. Don't think for a second that values like honesty, loyalty, and integrity are just buzzwords. They're the very foundation of your character. The world might try to drag you down into the murky waters of compromise, but you must hold firm to your values. Be the man who is unshakable. Be the man who doesn't let the tides of popular opinion pull him off course. When you commit to your values, you're demonstrating something that transcends the temporary allure of what's popular. You're showing the world that you're not just another man trying to fit into a mold. Instead, you're an individual, a leader, a man who doesn't bend his principles to please others. This is a man who has learned the Stoic lessons of self, control, and resilience. Remember, Stoicism teaches us that external forces cannot dictate our worth or happiness. Our inner values are what truly matter. If you're someone who always gives in to pressure, always agrees with others just to avoid conflict, you'll never command respect. Women don't want a man who is easily swayed or who doesn't stand up for what he believes in. What they want is someone who is authentic, real, and strong in his sense of self. Women crave consistency, not instability. They want to know that when you commit to something, whether it's a relationship or an idea, you'll follow through. Be the man who keeps his word. Think about it. A Stoic life isn't about avoiding emotions or shutting people out. It's about maintaining your integrity regardless of external circumstances. Stoicism teaches us that life will throw all kinds of challenges at us. Temptations, conflicts, opinions, but we must stay true to ourselves. In the same way, when you stay consistent with your values, you build a level of trust that most men can't even dream of achieving. That trust is attractive. It's magnetic. A woman will never feel secure in a relationship if she can't rely on her partner to stay true to who he is. Don't falter when things get tough. Life is full of distractions and pressures that try to knock you off your path. But the Stoic approach is simple. Stay the course. Women respect a man who doesn't bend in the face of adversity. They're drawn to his strength. When your values are unwavering, you become a pillar of reliability. A man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to stand by it. To truly understand the power of holding firm to your values, look at the wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius. He taught that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can always control our reaction. You, too, can control how you respond to the world. By remaining firm in your values, you demonstrate emotional control and fortitude. You're not letting the chaos of the world dictate your inner peace. When you demonstrate this kind of strength, not only do you gain the respect of women, but you also earn their admiration. Women are drawn to men who show strength, who are consistent, and who make decisions based on solid principles. They can trust that you will make the right choice, even when the world pushes you in the opposite direction. Be the man who has an unshakable sense of integrity. This is what true strength looks like. At the end of the day, women are looking for a man who will be there, no matter the challenges. They want someone who doesn't just talk a good game but lives by his words. They want someone who can weather any storm, someone who knows that his values are non-negotiable. By standing firm in your values, you create a foundation for a deep, meaningful relationship. So, don't bend to pressure. Don't let the opinions of others steer you away from who you are. Be the man who stands tall, who stays true to his principles, and who doesn't flinch when faced with adversity. That is the man who commands respect, who attracts women looking for something real and lasting. Live the Stoic life, embrace your values, hold firm to them, and watch as your relationships flourish. So, there you have it. Boundaries aren't about building walls. They're about setting the standard for how you deserve to be treated. Remember, being clear and confident about your limits is one of the best ways to attract respect and build meaningful relationships. If you found this helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more straight talk dating strategies. Take care and see you in the next one. Stoicism.